welcome to my channel. My name is Brienne Beebe. I'm a high school math teacher and I love talking about all things organization and productivity for teachers. But before I get into the video, I wanted to announce here for the first time that I'm going to be launching a course for teacher productivity in January. I'm actually about to start filming the course lessons for it right now. I actually decided to do this video first just to kind of get like a warm up before I started filming those lesson videos. So if you want to be the first to know about what is happening with the course, make sure you sign up to get on that wait list. It's in the description box below, but if you go to busymissbeebe.com/waitlist, you can sign up and you'll be the first to know about what's going on with the course when it's launching and all of the other details. Like the name, I still don't know what I'm naming this thing. What I've actually realized and discovered about what I know about teacher productivity and the things that I've done in the past is that they actually still translate to right now in 2020 when things are so weird. It's going to be weird to watch these videos back, I think, when we're not teaching in a pandemic. I think that'll eventually happen. So it's just interesting to think about it. But what I've noticed was that the different systems and processes that I've put in place have carried through, and honestly, they've been saving my sanity during this time. While things are really crazy and really difficult, I at least am able to still get my lesson plans done. And that's why today we're talking about batch lesson planning. This is an update to my original video, and I'll link that down below. My original video was filmed probably like right around 3 years ago, like to the day. I don't know, I should actually go back and look, but it's been 3 years. So things were very different back then. And I realized when I did a podcast interview for the Teacher Care Society with Albert Morales that so much has changed since then, but I've never done an update on here to actually discuss that. So I filmed that video and shared about what I was doing. Then the following year, I started teaching a new course. I started teaching Algebra 2. I had 4 preps that year instead of just the 3, and I don't think batch lesson planning really changed for me so much, but I realized how important it was to be flexible because I was having to put notes together from scratch for Algebra 2, not to mention tests, quizzes, everything. But I don't feel like I was really going from scratch quite the same way. I relied on eMath instruction for a lot of the content and homework and Kuta software. I'll link those below. They're really great resources for math teachers. Now it was last year that made a big change. So last year I was not teaching Algebra 2, but then I was teaching pre-calculus and calculus, and so that's 5 different courses that I was teaching. I was still teaching 2 different geometries and SAT prep, and so those were the 3 that didn't change so much, but pre-calculus and calculus, brand new courses to me, and they're through our college, like our local community college. So I was relying very heavily on the textbook for a lot of things. And I'm not someone that just like teaches from a textbook. So I had to go through the textbook and create my own notes. And we used the textbook mostly for homework. That's where I would assign the homework from. But it was a lot just putting together everything for those 2 courses. And the big shift that happened for me in batch lesson planning was that I wasn't just going from like day to day the same way I was that I described in that video 3 years ago. I was very much like, these are tasks that I do on Monday, these are the tasks I do on Wednesday, etc. That didn't really work out the same way. I wasn't done creating notes for the following week all on Monday anymore. But what did work for me was having that sequence where we would start with doing the notes, and then we'd have the practice, and then I'd work on the assessments, and then I would do the answer keys, and then I would make the copies, and then I would do the slides. And having that sequence and still batching that for all the different courses I was teaching was still a game changer. It still made everything possible. I was still able to keep up with my planning and stay a week ahead. Now I do have to mention that I wasn't so much totally getting everything done in the school day at the beginning of the year. I think definitely the first quarter and maybe even into December, I was working in our local library on Saturday mornings. So I would go there when they opened at 10 and stay until about noon, maybe 1 o'clock if it was like a really heavy week. So the sequence of tasks and flexibility, I realize, are the keys to batching, and I didn't see it that way before. I was so used to having certain tasks be designated to certain days, but I don't view batching that way anymore. And that's actually been super helpful in other areas, like having a teacher business, for example. A lot of people talk about batching in their teacher business, and they're like, on Monday I do my blog post, on Tuesday I do my product photography, on Wednesday I do my social media posts, and on Thursday I do TPT stuff. And that never worked for me. I wanted it to, and I was like, yeah, I love batching, but when I tried it, it fell apart. My home life is very unpredictable. You know, I have a toddler, so I might say, yeah, on Wednesday I'm gonna do product photography, but then, you know, it doesn't happen because we're having a rough time and he didn't take a good nap or something. So having that idea that batching is more about the sequence of tasks rather than the specified days has been a game changer. And I had help with this because I took a course, I believe it's called the Finishing Framework. If it's something different, I'll put that in the description box. But I took that course and it was phenomenal in terms of helping me understand batching for my business differently. And now that I've gone through that, I've really connected it with the experience that I had teaching last year. And just to further illustrate that point, it's not like I'm sitting here saying, I'm gonna blog on Sundays. It's instead saying, so when I blog something, I need ideas and I need to do keyword research and I need to draft it, etc. There's a lot that goes into a blog post. But instead of sitting there and saying, okay, so in one day I'm gonna do this whole blog post, I'm now saying, okay, so today I'm gonna get these tasks done for my blog posts for the next quarter. And that's helped me tremendously, especially this fall, just being as stressful as it is with school. I have my blog posts done. Now I haven't done them because I've been working on a course, but I still have them ready to go. Almost. I just have to do like the final edits and stuff. I'm sorry if that tangent did not apply to you, but to me it's like part of the story, so I had to include it. So I'm just realizing this as I'm reflecting on it. I feel like last year was 2 separate years, because when I was thinking about last year, like in school versus last year when we were home, I was like, that's the same year. They don't connect for me. But I wanted to also talk about what happened in the spring. So my school, we started online teaching really in April because we had our spring break right when everything happened. And that gave us time to regroup, which was fantastic. But now I'm teaching in a totally new, different way. And, you know, I don't need to have notes quite prepared the same way I did before. So I actually had to rework how I was batching entirely. And I did a series of videos. Every week I just did an update. I don't know why I did it. I don't know, maybe it was just for the memories. Not that I want to look back on it, but if you do want to look back on it, they're there. You can see that it took me until like the end of the school year to say, oh, I got batching figured out for this now. And there the struggle was that I was doing different things in different courses. SAT prep, it was just like, here's Khan Academy because I couldn't really do anything else. And then I was teaching calculus and I was burnt out on filming videos. So for my calculus class, I was like scrambling to find videos for them. I did the same thing for my general geometry class. I was like, let me find videos for you. And then for geometry, I was like, let me make these videos for you, because if there's one thing that I've realized, it's that I don't quite teach geometry in the same way as other teachers do. So there are lots of videos out there that you could possibly use for your courses, but I was finding that in geometry I kind of combined different topics differently, or that I didn't include certain things, like our state just has different requirements than others. So I made up all my own geometry videos. And keep in mind, at the beginning of this, we were thinking we would be back in school after 2 weeks or something. So I thought, you know, we might still have a region, so let me make sure we're prepared. And so I did basically what I normally would have done, just in video form. So coming into fall 2020, I was prepared that my batching system was going to look different than it had in the past. And I learned that from the spring, so I'm kind of grateful for that experience. We also changed how we were teaching in general. Our school decided that they want everything to be synchronous or live. And that wouldn't really be a fair statement. They don't want everything live necessarily. But regardless, planning for online teaching is still very different. So I've decided to continue doing videos for my geometry classes, and sometimes I do for pre-calculus. It just depends, because as much as possible I'm trying to find videos online for pre-calculus or my general geometry class. But we're using a textbook for pre-calc, and I noticed that they combine certain topics in different ways where I can't just search a video on our current topic and it has everything that we need. So sometimes I'm making videos for them. And overall, I'd say that the video making is the most time-consuming part of everything. So I'm starting my week by planning. Usually I have my following week planned, or at least an idea of it, before the end of the previous week, so that's helpful. I get my plans in my Google Sheets lesson planning template, so they're all there. And I've been mostly focusing on making sure that my objectives are good, because I have my objectives in my slides throughout the week, so that's my main focus there. Sometimes I've been leaving some things blank where it's like, I know the activities that we're doing, but I'm not committing to them at the beginning of the week just in case, and then I forget to go back and fill them in. So after my planning, then I get my videos filmed and get them edited and uploaded, and that usually is taking me until about Tuesday. And then I work on the activities, so I look through what I have. TPT has been a saving grace. Anytime I can find a bundle that's meant for my course, well, not anytime, but I bought a couple of those at the beginning of the school year and over the summer, so now I have activities and things to choose from. So I've had that going, and then I have been shopping quite a bit for pre-calc, because even the bundles that I purchased don't perfectly match everything that we're doing. And sometimes it's like, I'd rather just spend the $2 to buy a Google form from TPT than have to sit down and make it and think everything out myself. So once I have all the activities ready to go for all my classes, then I can move on to just preparing for the next week. And I have slides. There's so many slides. I kind of want to try and cut some of them out, but I don't think I really can at this point. I feel like I have them for a reason, like they all meet different needs. I do a week at a glance that's available on my website for parents. I do daily slides, so every day that my students log into Google Classroom, they're seeing a slide that has like what we're doing for the day, what they need to do to check in, and all the information that they need, including the objective. And then I have slides for the meets that has a lot of the same information as the daily slide, but it includes like what we're doing specifically during our meeting and the reminders to like mute your microphone and, you know, make sure you participate, make sure you have your materials, here are the materials that you need. So doing all those slides every week, it's actually pretty time consuming, but I know that it's saving me time from having to communicate the same things over and over and over and over with students. And then once I have the slides done, I will go ahead and schedule everything into Google Classroom for the next week. So that's my batching system in a nutshell. I'm certain that I've like skipped over something, but it's okay, like you get the idea, and I'm just trying to stay really flexible with it. For the most part, the past 3 weeks, I've been able to pretty much finish my week on Friday and, you know, take Saturday and Sunday off and not have to worry about it. This week is the exception. This week we finished our first quarter, so grades have been due, and that was very time consuming. Grading in general is so time consuming. I feel like that's the thing that I left out, honestly, is that it's a struggle to plan and get grading done in the same day. But all that to say that this week I have work to do tomorrow because I'm not ready for this week yet. And I did batch, but between the grading and me realizing like I need to restructure some of my lessons for next week, so I have to go back and just make some tweaks. I got stuff to do tomorrow, but it's totally okay. It's gonna be worth it. Plus there's lessons that I planned for this week that are now going to be pushed to a future week. So now I've saved a little bit of time there. So that is everything for this video. I hope it was helpful in case you were looking into batching your lesson planning. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Check out that waitlist for the course that's coming out soon. And as always, thanks for watching.